I was 14 years old when my sister Leslie introduced me to flying at El Monte Airport. There, she took me to G&H Aircraft, who employed me as a plane washer because I was too young to have a work permit. They gave me flight time for my effort. Then she introduced me to Norm Stewart, her flight instructor at Floor Flight School. Norm wanted me to get into ground school, so he took me over to Jess Bartlett, who operated out of this hangar long before he had the big Bartlett Aviation Flight School at El Monte. That's when my flight training really took off. Jess Bartlett began teaching me ground school and flight school. He taught me in this PA-28-140, better known as the Cherokee 140. This 1966 Piper was pretty fun to fly. It wasn't long before I had my ground school certificate. Our mother passed away December the 12th, 1980. And just 2 months later, on February the 12th, 1981, I was ready to solo, and I was really sad that Mom couldn't be there. However, my dad, Cy, and Leslie, my sister, was there, and Leslie is taking these pictures of me pre-flighting this Piper Cherokee, getting ready to fly. Here, I'm with Jess Bartlett, getting ready to take off for my first solo. He's doing the pre-checks flights with me before he jumps out of the airplane and I take off by myself. So this was the first time I flew solo by myself. The airplane got off the ground rather quickly without the weight of my flight instructor next to me. My palms were sweaty. I was nervous. I won't lie. I was just gripping the yoke tight. I was spinning the trim on the ceiling, making sure everything was good. But after that first landing, the ice was broke, and I was ready to fly by myself. Here, Jess Bartlett endorses my logbook for solo flight. Down and alive, he says. I regret I don't have the pictures of Jess Bartlett cutting my t-shirt, but I do have my t-shirt. That night I was taken to Bruno's Italian restaurant in El Monte for my dinner. This is the picture taken of me before I took a shower and went to bed. Really happy that night. Super. I began flying PA-28-140 Cherokee 56513. It became my favorite airplane. It was very powerful for its age. It was a 1967 Piper, and it really got off the ground and took off. This is the airplane many of my friends and family will remember that I took them up in back in the early 1980s. I flew this airplane all over Southern California. To get your private pilot license, you need 20 hours of dual and 20 hours solo by yourself. I began working on my 20 hours by myself in Cherokee 513. I definitely loved this airplane. I flew it to Santa Barbara, I flew to Catalina, Palm Springs, San Diego, Big Bear, just all over the place. It wasn't long before I had the 40 hours required for my private pilot license. Actually, by this time I already had 67 flight hours. Jess Bartlett began preparing me for my flight test. I was very, very lucky to get check righted by Elmer Riley, a very, very famous pilot from World War II who also flew with Chuck Yeager. Elmer Riley got his private pilot license from Orville Wright, as did his wife, both of them, in 1932. He was the senior flight examiner for Southern California. On May 25th, Memorial Day, I took my private pilot flight test with Elmer Riley and passed. I was the youngest private pilot in Los Angeles County and the first private pilot to graduate from high school already with a pilot license. This was mentioned by my cross-country coach, Stanley Kine, at my graduation ceremony on June 18, 1981. For all of those that I took up, thank you for flying with me, and I know you had a great time, even through the bad times when things got scary. I was trained in all kinds of airplanes, from Cessna 172s to 150 that you see here, to an acrobatic Cessna 152. Although loop-to-loops and acrobatics are not required for private license, I was training for commercial all the way up to flight instructor. So definitely, I was ahead of my time at 17 years old.
Alright, hi, I'm Robert Perez. I've known Brian since 1979, and I flew with him many times. He was a great pilot. We went around Catalina, we flew up to Big Bear and landed, and trust him if you have to. He's a great guy and he's a good pilot.
Alright, this is Brian Baker. February the 12th, 2016, 35 years after that solo. This is my t-shirt. that Jess Bartlett cut off my back the day I soloed. I still have it. I regret that I don't have the pictures that we took when he cut the t-shirt off my back. There's a lot of pictures that are missing from that solo sequence. I apologize, but what I have is what I have left. It's been 35 years. I'll keep this shirt the rest of my life. Everybody who solos gets their t-shirt cut. It's a tradition. It's been a tradition since Orville Wright. But anyway, I still have it, and it was just a happy day in my life, and I'm glad to share it with everybody. Thank you for watching.